Genre combinations are becoming more prevalent in gaming, with varying results. Become Studios' Sunday Gold takes the point-and-click adventure genre and blends it with RPG elements including skill trees, leveling, and a turn-based combat system. The results of this union are mixed, as each genre's elements end up as average representations, but the combination is still a unique undertaking that has its moments. Sunday Gold takes place in 2070s London and follows the story of Frank Barber, a crook who prefers to steal from the rich to benefit the poor. Down on his luck, after some heist gone wrong, Frank meets with his trusted accomplice Sally at a pub about a new opportunity from Gavin, an IT manager recently fired from the local billionaire Kenny Hogan's corporate offices. Kenny Hogan gained fortune and fame by rejuvenating a lethargic Britain with the cybernetically enhanced undead dog fighting ring, King's League, which keeps gaining in popularity despite protests.
Firing guns in an office building.
Sure, whatever.
Gavin recruits Frank and Sally to break into the offices to gain proof of the company's dark secrets to be sold to the highest bidder. However, things aren't as they seem for the intrepid trio, as they find themselves in a conspiracy with inhumane implications. This conspiracy takes centre stage and leads to many potentially interesting world and character building moments feeling like an afterthought. While its uncovering is still entertaining and provides some twists and turns, it comes across as more of a side story in a larger setting that is never explored. Chapters in Sunday Gold contain a large complex with interconnected rooms that are filled with interactive objects. Players are free to explore each room they have unlocked, as well as glance at any objects of interest. Most puzzles can be solved through trial and error, but it's much more rewarding and simpler to come to the solution via clues obtained through memorization and a keen eye. However, keeping track of all the moving pieces as players bounce between rooms can be overwhelming, with players juggling many parts to different puzzles, and it isn't unusual for something to be picked up early on that has no use until near the end of a story sequence.
What do we do?
Knowing Steve, he'll have his password written down somewhere in the office.
Let's do some snooping then.
While moving around is free, deeper examinations of objects cost action points, or AP. Searching an easily accessible object costs 3 AP, while others require special tasks like picking locks, moving heavy objects, or hacking into computers that can add an additional 1 to 3 AP before they become accessible. Each of the 3 characters can use up to 7 AP per turn, and at the end of each turn there is a chance for the threat level to increase, decrease, or to be spotted by enemies and attacked. As the threat rises, the group attracts more frequent battles against stronger enemies, encouraging players to solve puzzles quickly.
Then I align the ring with the marker, and I repeat for each ring. It's not rocket science, but it still requires finesse and good timing.
Each of the heroes has a unique specialty skill. Frank picks locks, Sally moves large objects, and Gavin hacks into electronics. Each skill use has an associated minigame, with players getting a few chances to succeed before the attempt is deemed a failure. Frank's lockpicking involves placing a rotating cursor within a moving radar 5 times. Sally's minigame simulates breathing by having players move a fluctuating bar within a highlighted range and keeping it there while an unseen timer ticks down. Gavin's requires finding a 4-digit code from a set of 3 to 5 numbers, which is a fun diversion that uses memory compared to the other timing-based minigames. Frank and Sally's minigames always have to be completed by the player and take a little bit of time to get used to, but at least with Gavin's numerical puzzle, he can gain an ability to automatically crack the code that costs max AP. Exploration, puzzles and quests reward players with more experience than combat does alone, which makes fights feel less rewarding and appealing. Leveling up grants characters a small increase in stats and 2 skill points, which can be used to boost an unlocked combat ability, passive skill or efficiency at the minigames up to 3 additional times. Fully maxing out a skill tree is not possible with the maximum level of 10, but players are given the opportunity between to reset and reallocate skills as needed. Combat in Sunday Gold also uses AP, so players need to consider keeping some available for exploration once combat ends. Regular attacks use 1 AP, while special attacks cost more and may require time to activate. Item use is free, but ends the turn, while guarding replenishes AP and negates any charged attacks. Enemies have shields that provide them with a minor increase to defense and evasion, which can be reduced more quickly by hitting their weaknesses and lead to a staggered state when removed fully, during which attacks always hit and deal extra damage. The balance between maintaining AP and how to attack efficiently is fun, but often feels repetitive due to a lack of enemy variety.
That's just fucking wrong! I can't do this.
Characters have a composure meter players will need to keep in mind, which can be lowered by encountering certain things during exploration or taking attacks from certain enemies in combat. Once a character's composure drops low enough, they enter a panicked state that can gradually worsen. This state adds a ticking countdown during the turn, with visual effects occasionally distracting players at higher levels of panic. If an action isn't decided by the end of the countdown, the character will either perform a random action or just waste a turn. Players are able to regain composure with consumables, an ability Frank learns, or by gaining confidence with the completion of certain exploration tasks. The way it works to heighten the anxiety of the player is one of the most creative elements of the game, and it's disappointing such ingenuity isn't found elsewhere in an otherwise average combat system.
Sweet dreams.
Sunday Gold features a fun comic book styling for its story scenes and special attack animations that really pop in the moment. Camera angles in combat are very stylish, but can be a practical hindrance as some angles don't show damage totals or even the enemy. The point-and-click interaction with some of the objects can be very particular, with some only being the size of a mouse cursor. This can cause moments of blind confusion as players search for the solution to the next puzzle, only to find it hidden in plain sight all along. The game's audio work is passable, with sound effects and backing music sitting in the background without being noteworthy. Voice acting hits really well at moments, with each protagonist and some minor NPCs running the gamut with emotional ranges, despite everyone swearing like sailors. Unfortunately, some of the antagonists monologue like poor cartoon caricatures and don't emote enough to successfully chew the scenery, making them feel lackluster in comparison. Sunday Gold has a story that is set in an interesting world, but its focus on a singular plot point, while entertaining, makes other content feel disjointed. As a point-and-click adventure, the game lacks stakes as everything can be completed with enough attempts. As a turn-based RPG, the characters don't get a lot of customization, and the most interesting parts of combat are how to avoid spending too much time in it, or dealing with the inventive negative state. However, the balance between both of these average experiences combine into an enjoyable experience that fills its 15 to 20 hour runtime, but likely only for those actively looking to see the results of such an experiment. The Lander and RPGamer awarded Sunday Gold 3 out of 5. Full disclosure, this review is based on a free copy of the game provided by the publisher. Please consider subscribing to RPGamer for more news, reviews, and RPG-related features. And thanks again for watching.